Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology Podcasts with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost Here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and Future Tech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first, in their covered wagons. They find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's blockchainfuturetechexpo.com. Thank you.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech Podcast. My guest today is a little bit unusual. There's been a couple of people that I've run into. This guy was a guest at the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference we just finished in February in Dallas. And he fell victim to a scam, a crypto scam. And I have before. Another lady that attended the conference, not because of the conference, but because of her dealings with BitConnect, was also scammed. And I thought it's important to bring this to light and to people's attention on, some of the possible things that are going on in the crypto world. It's super important. What's the point of saving money and trying to make money and all that if you can lose it all? So I wanted to welcome my guest. Again, I'm going to call him Mr. X, and I want to ask him about his experience. So how you doing, sir?
Very good, Rich. Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah. So, I apologize. It's no fun to relive it, but can you just give listeners a background on what happened? How did it start and what happened to you?
Yeah, sure. I guess to lead into this, I'll just admit up front that I had some a percentage of culpability to this myself. But again, as through stress and strain, would never have gotten to that level that I had to make some moves that put me at risk. Had this Coinbase not had been messing with my account. Here's what happened. I got into crypto February last year, 2017, and started trading primarily Ethereum and Bitcoin. It evolved from there, and as I did, the account would verify me, of course. Got my Social Security number. Everything seemed to be okay, but then it would de-verify me. And every time I would go to sell, transfer funds, it would say, nope, we can't do that because your Social Security number has not been verified yet. So this went on, literally for 10 months. And then finally, I started getting I really wanted to make some moves on and get in and out of the market. And right around December is when I tried. Obviously, things were at a high at that moment. And when I tried to sell off coins, cryptocurrency, I got stifled again. No longer could do it because Social Security number was not verified. And is I had been dealing with their customer service group on and off for 10 months, I really went after them this time. And I have to tell you, dealing with their customer service group was literally an exercise in futility. I would go 4 weeks.
I have a Coinbase account. There is no customer service. They send you to an FAQ, and it's a complete lack of any. They could care less. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And 3 to 4 weeks later, somebody would get back to me. Anyway, I started pushing very hard just after Christmas as I started to see the market coming down a bit. I wanted to get out 50-60% of my position, and couldn't do it. Watched it continue to go down, and then, long story short, I wanted to get my funds out. I no longer trusted this exchange. And so as I attempted to do that, nothing was working. They wouldn't let me get it out, continued to tell me that I was not verified, couldn't make the moves.
Let's say it was Bitcoin you had. Did you sell it back into U.S. dollars, or you couldn't even do that? Or did you try to, at what point did you get stopped, by the way, by Coinbase?
That's a great distinction. The point where is I finally got, I had everything transferred into Bitcoin and then exchanged it out into cash. There was literally about $10,000 in cash in the account, and it was just sitting there wanting to take it over now. And by the way, getting it to Bitcoin was a big pain. It took me almost 3 weeks to do that. Then once the cash was in there, I tried to get it out to a bank account that I'd already had some minimal transactions with when it would allow me, and it wouldn't do it. And customer service kept saying, well, we'll look into this. And finally, I started calling them. I mean, literally on a daily basis. So there was nothing. I mean, people hung up on me. They told me they would get back to me and never did. Finally, I went on LinkedIn and looked up some of the executives in the company, Brian Armstrong, Daniel Romero, Rachel Price. I mean, about 12 or 15. I sent them LinkedIn in-mail, tell them that I needed their help. Nothing. Zero. And so while I was on LinkedIn one day, I looked up LinkedIn customer service, and thinking that maybe I could get some kind of roundabout customer service number. And when I dialed that number, it was somebody who was posing as a Coinbase customer service rep.
Right.
I think you probably know where the rest is going. Here's where my culpability. I was desperate enough to want that money out that I gave them. I let them patch into my computer for about a half hour one afternoon, and he transferred all the Bitcoin out to his accounts. There was nothing I could do about it at that point. So, I mean, I watched it. I sat here and watched it happen. But long story short, Coinbase literally would never even extend a help or a hand. Now it's in their fraud investigating it 4 weeks ago, and haven't heard a thing from them.
Have you spoken to an attorney?
Yes, we are filing as we speak.
Oh, good. All right. At least you got help in that regard. I know there's sometimes that's what it takes. So Coinbase is a U.S.-based company, so they're open to subpoena and to legal action.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they are. But you know as well as I do that A takes God knows how long it takes, and B there's a point by which maybe it's just no longer worth it. But I really want to help people that are listening to this. If they ever get so frustrated to do what I did, these numbers, as a matter of fact, interestingly enough, Rich, are still up. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually getting calls back from these scammers, and they're trying to tell me still that they're Coinbase reps and that they want to help me with my account. So,
are you documenting and screenshotting the numbers and the profiles on LinkedIn and the calls themselves? Are you recording them?
Oh, yeah.
Because that would all be good evidence,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all for the local police. I've called IC3, which is the arm of the FBI that would do investigation on, cyber scams, cryptocurrency scams, etc. But there's a number that I want to give you or the people that are listening never, ever to call. If you do, just know that this is a scam. May I give that or not?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Sure.
It's 517-714-4675. And they've got an 800 number too. This is all you can look up LinkedIn customer or on Coinbase customer service, and these numbers will come up, 800-564-1194, and they'll answer the phone either as Nick or David, and they're scammers. That's all there is to it. And I would have never got to this point to even call them if Coinbase could have figured out some way to be adaptive around customer service.
Well, I'm not an attorney, but the fact that, have you alerted LinkedIn that this is going on, and has LinkedIn taken any action to do anything?
My friend,
Bill Shahara is the head of LinkedIn. I mean, sorry, not Bill Shahara, it's Bittrex. Have you talked to LinkedIn, and have they agreed to take this down or not?
I have sent, again, 12 LinkedIn emails to the top 12 people in the company, not one response.
That may be an angle as well, because I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not an attorney, but LinkedIn may have some shared liability in allowing this to exist and continue when it's known that this is a known scam. So maybe something to check into. But
thank you. I will do that as well. But my beef, of course, isn't with LinkedIn. But again, they do have these. I mean, there's 5 numbers that are up on this when you do pull a search on LinkedIn. So that's the story. Again, if I hadn't got, I needed to get the money out. There were things that needed to be done with that. And Coinbase was nowhere to be found as far as a customer service orientation.
Yeah, myself personally, I've had problems with Poloniex, zero customer support, Bittrex, zero customer support. I mean, it sounds like it's rampant, and it's across multiple platforms. So it's going to be a big potential future liability possibly for these companies. Now,
let me ask you then, do you figure that this is just because of the increased and sheer volume of people getting into crypto and they are behind, or is this just they don't have a mentality for customer service in the first place?
I think it's both. I mean, if you think about it on its face, I accept responsibility too. You're sending money to a company that has no way to contact them, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, and we trust these companies, and they just apparently could care less about helping their customers. I know that they're overwhelmed, but they've done nothing to help their customers. And again, it's not just them. There's Bittrex, Poloniex, Binance, Cryptopia. I mean, there's been a whole bunch of places that just, if you look, there's hundreds, thousands of customer complaints, and they just don't care. I'm amazed this exists. If you've ever invested in an ICO, you're sending Ethereum to a website and an address, tens of thousands of dollars, and there's no way to contact those people, yet people do it. So it's pretty crazy if you think about it.
Well, it's interesting because I'm also doing options trading, and I've set up numerous brokerage accounts online. I mean, within minutes, typically, I'm getting responses if there's ever an issue. And it was such an awareness, eye-opening when I got into crypto because nobody seemed to care. I mean, not one person ever really. As a matter of fact, Coinbase hung up on me on 3 different occasions because I was so adamant about getting my money out, and they hung up. They just hung up.
Well, it's funny. People talk about not wanting regulation in the crypto world. Regulation is bad, but actually it's not in these cases because it prevents stuff like this happening.
Oh, I think you're right on target there, and you can't be unregulated in all forms and purposes, and companies will take advantage of it, and certainly crypto is.
Yeah, I'm not saying I love regulation. Please regulate me. Please,
right.
Do all that stuff. But now you see why some regulation is needed. I see it because. I haven't had this problem with my bank account where I couldn't get a hold of the company and the bank has a fiduciary responsibility with my money, and it doesn't seem to be the same way with crypto. So we do need some regulation, some sensible regulation, because this is just, I'm amazed that these companies haven't been sued out of existence and shut down because of all the complaints. It's crazy.
Well, I guess in the early stages, blazing trails, the trailblazers get, as the old adage goes, get arrows in their back, and there's going to be some people that suffer. And it never, Rich, occurred to me that this would ever take place. It never was part of my consideration to get into crypto trading. It just wasn't. So anyhow, I hope that others will never do the same thing I did, and certainly beware of anything on LinkedIn as far as customer service for Coinbase.
Well, one more question. When you contacted the authorities, it sounded like you contacted multiple ones. Did they understand what you were talking about? Did they care?
No.
Like, what was their reaction? You know, the FBI and the local police.
Well, the FBI was interesting because they said, "Well, we don't handle this. This is it's handled through IC3, which is their online crypto and cyber group that." And I filed a complaint. Not a word out of them. So my guess is, I'm number 1,055,055. So, but then I went to my local police station, and the sergeant was standing behind a desk, and I explained. He said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Cryptocurrency. Are you familiar with Bitcoin?" "Oh, that Bitcoin thing. Oh, I'd never get into that." And so, right away we're trying to educate before we can even get to the point of solution to maybe take some steps to get things moving from a legal standpoint. So, it was like swimming upstream, I have to tell you.
One suggestion, I don't know how this will play out, but would be to contact the SEC, their Financial Crimes Enforcement Division, or FinCEN. They should be aware of it. I mean, especially the SEC. I don't know if they have any jurisdiction, but something may come out of it. I don't know.
That's a great point. I had not thought about that, and I'm willing to take every step possible. We've filed against Coinbase. Who knows whether anything will ever come out of that. But again, I didn't get into this to start pressing legal suits at all. I just wanted to make money and enjoy it. But anyhow, my culpability was that I made a bad move, and I let them have access. But boy, I just wish I got a lot. I kicked myself 100 times over, as you can imagine.
Well, I understand that this would dissuade you from wanting to be involved in crypto. I felt like that, when I had some trouble.
Did you?
But, I can't tell you to, throw it off and keep moving. The decision's going to be up to you. But I can tell you that, don't let it hurt you too much mentally, and you got to move on and just kind of, get going. That's what I decided with myself. So I hope that helps.
Well, it does. Thank you. And I kind of likened it to after you have a car fender bender, they say, "Well, get back in the car and drive," so you're not overwhelmed by that feeling. And I'm same way here. I'm just kind of holding myself till the time's ready. But just if I may, you said that you lost. I mean, was it somebody actually hacked into your account, or did you do something similar as I did? What was your scenario?
Yeah, actually, mine. I ended up installing a keystroke logger unintentionally, from what I can gather. So the hackers went in and took money out of one of my wallets. So it's kind of funny because I haven't lost money in my bank account, and even on the exchanges, knock wood, I haven't lost money. But when I controlled my own keys, just like the mythology tells you, and I dealt with it on my own computer with my own wallet, that's when I screwed up and I lost some money. So it was kind of a funny lesson that way.
Wow.
So that's just the short of it, yeah. So, it just made me realize there's trade-offs. Like they tell you, control your private keys. Don't put it on the exchange. There's problems there and you can lose stuff or be hacked. Then there's the exchanges themselves. There's dealing with crypto at all. It is the Wild West. We've all got to realize that, and stuff can happen. Hopefully it won't, and there's best practices, but all you can do is what you can do and learn from it and go forward.
Oh, I agree with you. And, the funny thing about it was 2 or 3 days prior, I had everything safely tucked away on my Nano S, and I brought it all out to, make the transaction, get the cash into a bank account, and boom, it's, at that moment it's vulnerable. So, it's a bit of got to watch your back here.
Yeah, even with the Nanos and the Trezors, I'm not sure which one, but there's been scams associated with that. I mean, it's unbelievable when you read what's going on out there. People have had their two-factor authentication messed with when it used to be text verification. I mean, people have been stolen from in every way you can imagine, and it's going to continue. So it's going to be an arms race between us and the scammers.
Scammers, yeah. Yeah, but I think you're right. Hopefully people don't let it dissuade them and leave a bad taste in their mouth. It's just part of the learning lesson, that's for sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate you relating the story. It's never fun to do it. no one wants to recount this and think, because you feel, I'm guessing, but, I felt stupid and angry and 10 other things all at the same time. So I'm sure you feel probably the same thing.
Yeah, it's a natural human emotion, certainly, and it doesn't make it any easier at the time, but, 3 weeks hence, it's all kind of in the rearview mirror now. But yes, you're absolutely right. All those feelings and emotions did come out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And like I said, don't give up. Don't let the bad guys win. And I hope that things go well with you battling against Coinbase.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Rich. I appreciate your help and time today.
Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and Future Tech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first. In their covered wagons, they find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's blockchainfuturetechexpo.com. Thank you. You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.